And we are live. Hi, everyone. We've already been chatting a little bit on the side about this brush set that I was recommending everybody to use, because today it is a Procreate day, and I'm going to be using brushes from the WAGONIZED brush set created by Georg in Germany. So if you would like, and again, this is not a pressure on my part, because I will also tell you which native brush in Procreate can work similarly to the one I'm about to use. But if you want to grab this brush set, it's underneath this video. There's a link there that says France's WAGONIZED drawing set. And I believe you can get it this way. Although, if I follow Stina and Hans Lars, it sounds as though maybe you need to also Google it. WAGONIZED Procreate brush set. That can also lead you to it. I hope you guys get to it. However, this is just as usual. Not me telling you, you have to draw with this today, okay? By the way, I'm going to be in Procreate. It doesn't mean that you should be in Procreate as well. I know that a lot of you produce amazing work just on regular paper using pencil or pens. So, you know, go to town. That's all that matters, right? However, I'm really going to need to leave at 12, because at 12 o'clock we have Lisa Filion with her live, so I don't want to encroach on any of this, so I will make sure to end things on time. I hope everybody is doing well today. We've got a lot of countries represented and a lot of states too. I'm so glad that we've got some sun in Wisconsin apparently, and I hope, Kate, I hope you have some sun in Baltimore, Maryland today. So, wow, so many people already. Again, take a moment if you'd like to explore this brush set. And if not, let's just go and open a canvas in Procreate, shall we? Our muse today is, it's on this side, is Mahmoud. And of course, I loved his expression, so I thought that would be a fun thing to do. Yes, Judy, it's going to be loose. That's my intention. For me, Procreate has become synonymous with just relaxing the hand. I was actually going to say maybe we should do a little blind contour at first. I did one already last night. Actually, if you look at my Instagram, that's what I posted to remind everybody to come here live. So let's find a canvas. I'm going to now flip the camera and have the camera facing my iPad. Okay, so here we go. I am in my Just Portrait folder. I've got a lot of portraits here. They're pretty random. And I'm going to choose a vertical canvas. It doesn't matter really the size. This is the I think the native one, the one that comes with Procreate. I'm going to go vertical. Boom, there it is. I'm going to go with a white background. You guys remember that if you want to get rid of all your controls, you can always tap once with 4 fingers and everything disappears. I like having them around because I'm always monkeying around with the width and the opacity. Okay, so Shelley using a regular pen. All right, I'm going to try to keep track of your comments as usual. And I hope if I miss one of your comments, I hope that you won't hesitate to ask me again, because as you know, I'll be drawing. So this concludes already the 3rd week of Drawing Faces with France, April edition. And we have 1 week left with 3 drawings left. Now, here's the thing. Next week, next Saturday at 11, we're going to have a live drawing again. And I was wondering whether I should go pen, pencil, or Procreate again. I have a preference probably for speed purposes, because I know that I get more accomplished in pencil. I will have a tendency to go with pencil. But if you tell me in the comments today, oh, Anne, you're here. Hi. If you tell me in your comments today, oh, you know, France, I really would like you to do something in pen because I want to know how you do this and that, then absolutely. So tell me for next week whether we should go pencil, pen, or Procreate. Again, my natural preference, just because in 1 hour, I like to finish as much as I can, and usually pencil allows me to do that. I'm going to lean towards pencil, but your preferences will be heeded. Rick is here. Hi, Rick. It's awesome to see everybody. Oh, okay. I see pen, pencil, and pen. All right, pencil. All right. You know what? I will check out your comments at the end, and I do definitely prefer being able to finish as much as possible. All right. So go ahead. Tell me your preference, and we are going to choose a vertical canvas, as I said. Those of you who have just come in, you can look at the bottom of the video today and see that there is a link for this brush set that I'm going to use. So the brush set created by Georg in Germany is called WAGONIZED. I have it saved here right under my favorites. And in the video, brush set, there are a bunch of them, starting with the Elder Sketchman, which I love. But then I was thinking, do I always want to give you the same, not the same product, because obviously the muse is different, but do I always want to go with the same brush? My guess is you guys probably want to see something a little different. So this morning, as I was going through some of the brushes and sort of making marks on my canvas, I decided to go with the Peyo. And Peyo, those of you who are European, I'm sure you're familiar with the fact that he is the artist who drew all the Smurfs. I believe he is Belgian. And this brush is absolutely cool. I love the Peyo. Another one I love is the Franquin, and another one that I love is the Dupalec. These three here are pen-like brushes that I absolutely love. But I'm going to lean towards the Peyo today. Now, for those of you who don't have that set, no worries. I'm inviting you to go to the native brush library of Procreate, go to inking, and even though it's not exactly the same experience, try to go with syrup, or perhaps even mercury. Mercury has a little bit of a texture, but syrup is pretty good too. I'm going to lean with a more pen-like brush myself. I love the Peyo. It goes really dark. And I think I'm going to go with black ink today, okay? All right. Ta-da! All right, so let's clear that canvas. Okay, I see that you guys are giving me your preference for next week. That's awesome. Okay, I will definitely follow what you said. Maybe it's going to be a split between pencil and pen. I'm not sure. But I hope that you won't mind if I lean towards pencil if that's the case, because, again, for finishing purposes. All right, now, Judy, you just said that you cannot pull yourself away from the Sketchman. Then go ahead with the Sketchman. It's an awesome brush. It's my go-to brush. I love it. But I'm going to change today, and I'm going to go with a pen-like brush. All right, Stina. All right, excellent. Woo, I'm happy that you were able to do this. So what I'm going to do, guys, you know me, I'm not one to use tons of layers in Procreate. I usually go with one. And because I go with one, I just go very sketchily at first. And I'm going to go with a super thin brush at first. So again, still in the Peyo. Those of you who are using the native brushes, you can go with syrup. But the Peyo is going to really go thin. So let's start, okay? It's 11:08, and I hope that we're going to get done as much as possible. All right, so let's start loosely, shall we? I'm going to start with the top of his head. Maybe we'll lose a little bit of the hair, but I'm kind of tackling things more or less as if it were a... not exactly a blind contour, but what blind contour really has taught me to do is to trust what I do on the canvas without really looking at it. You just kind of have to trust where your brush is going. So this is not pretty, right? You agree? Hey, Kelly, you're here. Hi. But obviously pretty is not the goal here from the beginning, so I'm not too worried about that. All right, let's see if I can place some eyebrows on this line, some eyes on this line, maybe a nose right here. That goofy smile that I love right there. I don't know. Things are going to be revisited and revisited, everybody, okay? And things are going to go a little thicker and a little also more opaque. Although with the Peyo, whenever I draw in a pen brush in Procreate, I tend to not monkey with the opacity as much as I do with a pencil type brush. So my opacity, as you've noticed, is already pushed all the way up. So we're going to go with that. And right now it just looks like any old thin brush. Bear with me. It will start doing really interesting things when we go into the width a little bit. All right. Guys, if next week should be pen, then so be it. You know me, I love drawing in pen. And I got these, you know, remember last week I showed you my new big pens. I'm just totally thrilled with them. I'm thrilled with how wide and how much ink comes out of them, which is a plus and a minus. I realize that, but just absolutely love these new big pens. And I swear I have no affiliation with Bic, so I gain nothing from telling you to draw with a ballpoint Bic pen, but that's just how it is. Marcel, how are you? So glad you're joining us from Holland. All right, so really being extremely sketchy here, and I'm already feeling the need to go and branch out with maybe a wider brush in a minute. Okay, obviously things are super sketchy right now. Keep in mind, by the way, that for a really colorful portrait today, you can tune in to Lisa's live at 12, right after this one. One of the things that I didn't talk about yet is the fact that on May 1st, we're starting a new 30 Faces, 30 Days of Procreate, and I'm part of that. So yay, I'm really excited about it because I had so much fun drawing the portrait that I did for that. Excellent. Okay, did you select the Peyo brush from Georg's collection, or is it also tweaked by you? It is not tweaked by me, Ute. I did not tweak any of Georg's brushes. It's funny, I would not really dare monkey too much with his creations, you know. So no, it has not been tweaked whatsoever, but I'm just on a very thin setting. I think I'm at 6% width right now on this Peyo brush. Ooh, it's obnoxious if I knock my Apple Pencil. By the way, my Apple Pencil, love it. But you know who else loves it? My kitty. I don't know if you can see her teeth marks. Right there as well. Yep, not this end. She's not interested in this end. This is unscathed. But this end, boy, has she bitten into this. You know, you look away for 1 second and next thing you know, the kitty is gnawing on the pencil. Oh, Marianne Salling, you're telling us that the reference photo link is not working. Is that right? I am so sorry. I did not know it wasn't working. Just so you know, the name is Mahmoud Edris. You can find him on Sktchy. Yes, it is an expensive kitty toy. So let's raise the width here to about 30%. And now we're going to start getting some, you know, like Belgian comic of the 60s, you know, those amazing comic artists. Like I'm thinking of Peyo, but I'm thinking of Roba as well, you know, who drew Boule Bill. Again, those of you who grew up in Europe, Boule Bill might be familiar to you as well. I grew up reading that stuff. I had them all. All right, so you see it gets dark, right? Pretty quickly. Excellent. Okay, it works. Thank you. Jenny and Shelley for confirming. Excellent. Okay, thank you, Cynthia, as well. All right. Okay, thanks. That helps because I never use the link below the video since I have it up already on my end. All right, for the hair, I will widen that brush a little later. Right now I'm just trying to find the right proportions around his face, which I think is more or less right, hopefully. Okay, thank you, thank you. Thank you for helping, you guys, because I can't always like troubleshoot while I draw. I appreciate that. All right, after this, we're going to post in Sktchy Art School on Instagram as well. By the way, if I post anything on Instagram, it's going to be my 1000th post ever since I've been on Instagram. All right, there's that ear. Okay. All right. So it's definitely more cartoony now that we've gone a little thicker in the brush. I hope you're okay with that. Again, this is the way I'm choosing to go today. Not a you know, it's just a recommendation, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I know that sometimes I like having fun with more cartoony looks, which is kind of like my go-to way anyway, whenever I draw from my mind. Same thing with the cars. Okay. I know 1000 posts, it's wild, right? And yet that's not that much because I don't post every day, far from it. My Instagram is kind of a slow place when you really think about it. It's like a stew, you know, it takes a while to garner the views and stuff, I guess. Yeah, I really love the thick brush as well, right? Yeah. Jenny, sweet. So Jenny, are you also using this brush? And by the way, let me know if you are using the Peyo with me, okay? Excellent. And I also wanted to tell you that this is the 43rd live drawing that I've done with Sktchy since last year. Last year at this time of the year, on April 25th, which, you know, was a day after, we were drawing Said. Do you remember drawing Said on Procreate? He was the one with the mustache and glasses. And we also had a fairly loose approach to his portrait. And it was Elder Sketcherman. And I remember having a ton of fun drawing Said. And that was a year ago. The beginning of confinement, the beginning of, you know, the pandemic and all this. It's crazy to think about. Hans Lars, okay, you're using it. Excellent. Excellent, I'm glad. And guys, what I post on Instagram too is only what I post. I also draw just for myself, not for posting. And this is also where I learned to, you know, to draw too, is by myself without posting anything. Because drawing just for posting is not necessarily the most productive thing for me and the most growth-oriented thing I do. Yeah. Oh, good question, Monique. I would like to address that. So, Monique, with your Dutch last name, Van Beckum, I hope I'm saying it right. I am using a screen protector. I wish I had the screen protector here, but I'm going to tell you what I'm using. It's called, hold on, let me put my, because it's important. It does grab a little bit. It's called Super Shields. Super Shields, and it's got a Z at the end. That is the brand of the protector that I use, but it's not the glass one, it's the matte one. That's the one that prevents glare and really fingerprints. I absolutely love this Super Shield. Somebody on Instagram recommended it to me, and I was like, oh, you know what, I'll try it. And you buy it on Amazon. They sell them in packs of 3, and it's good because it's really a pain to put on at first. But when you kind of get the hang of it, it's great. So yeah, it's tricky on the big iPad because the big iPad has so much surface that, you know, you really have to do it right. And it takes a few tries. So yay. Let me keep going. Otherwise I'm going to chat and chat and chat. And next thing you know, we're going to be, you know, 50 minutes in and we're going to have eyes and maybe the beginning of a nose. And you guys will be like, oh, that was a rip-off. We didn't get a whole face today. We don't want that, okay? So I'm going to keep drawing. And if you really want to ask me something a little bit in an emergency, don't hesitate. So Monique, I hope I answered that question. Okay, let's place the eyes, shall we? Ta-da, here they are. And they're kind of big, so should be fun to create. Okay, here as well. Again, don't expect symmetry, okay? That's really like what your brain might want you to, you know, get to is symmetry. There is no symmetry in any human face. Oh, I did pronounce your name right, Monique. Yay, I try. Okay, excellent. Okay, that's interesting to find that out, Frank. So Frank, you use silicone pen tips instead of a screensaver. Okay, that's really interesting. I'm using, you know, the pen tips of the, like, sold by Apple. I always have a few spare ones. I think they're here somewhere, maybe in my pen drawer. Oh, no, they're here. No, they're not. Okay. Well, they're in my pen drawer. I have a drawer just for pens. I always have them, but frankly, I don't change my, my tips that often at all. Not at all. Okay, let's keep things loose. This is me talking to myself, trying to convince myself to keep things loose, okay? All right, here's the first iris. There's a lot going on inside. You know, I have not used an eraser yet. We're going to set the eraser to Peyo as well, so that whatever I erase will have the same kind of feel. Okay, some dark, oh, I'm in the eraser setting. Dark brown eyes here going on. But there's also a lot of reflection within those irises. Maybe I'll add more to that later. All right, gosh, what an expression. I'm loving it. I'm loving a fun expression like this. In such a frontal view, you want to make sure that you keep your two irises at about the same size. You know, like if one is this big, try to keep the same size on the other side. Yeah. Good question, Truc A. I do warm up some. Like before this, I was making lines just to test the Peyo. And yes, to a certain extent to loosen up my hand a little bit. And my lines were, you know, like I do a lot of straight, horizontal and vertical. I don't always, but I have to say that it does relax. It does relax my hand quite a bit. So to an extent, yes, I can say I was doing a little bit of warm up. Okay. And I know I could not have possibly said your name right. I apologize. Truc A. I know, you know, such a beautiful Vietnamese name, and I'm like butchering it with my French. You know, I had a very good student years ago who is now a teacher whose name was Truc Lan. And her parents were from Vietnam. But I know it's probably not right. Okay, so we've got eyes. Are they perfect? Do we aim for perfection today? No, not at all. So, and did you notice I'm in a certain width right now? Let's see how much width. I've got 10% on my brush of width. So it allows me to do some thicker marks, but not super thick like the ones that I was making for the hair. Okay. In fact, let me lower the width 5% now to get back to something super thin. And just go and do these marks under the eyes. Try to place the nose where it is. Okay. And now let's try to put the nostrils where I think they go, which is right around here. Things are not quite symmetrical, okay? Don't get fooled into thinking that these two nostrils are going to use exactly, you know, they're going to look exactly the same. Not the case. Also, if we look at where the light is coming from, there's more light coming from this side than this side. So there's going to be a lot more dark here. We're not going to push the contrast like crazy, but just so you know. All right. And again, trying to follow. Okay. Thank you. Okay, there's a mustache. All right. Shouldn't forget his eyelashes here under the eyes, right? Okay, all right. Something like this. What a cool expression. All right, this we're going to leave as completely in the light. This as well, this part here as well. We're going to leave some light here and some light right underneath the mouth here, which I will clear up with my eraser so that I don't forget. So what I'm doing right now is making sure that I don't fill in with whatever cross-hatching or whatever it is that I'm going to use, areas that need to stay illuminated to a certain extent. So much fun, this portrait. Okay. Now when I go loose like this, I really don't hesitate to sort of delineate, I think that's the right term, the areas that are going to be, you know, in the shade. So this is one, you know, so right now it's just really loose. And here as well. At some point you have to make the decision to make these more or less ugly lines, you know, like what I'm doing right now, because you just have to make marks and then see if it works, you know. So again, I'm in super, super thin settings here. All right. Can you guys still hear me okay? Is the sound good? Just confirm, because since I'm not getting comments anymore, sometimes I wonder, have I lost everybody and I can't tell? It's very strange. Like there's a quiet moment right now where probably everybody's drawing, but where I feel, oh, could this be one of those things where there's a big glitch in the tech and I don't even know about it? So please let me know. Right, flipping the canvas. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Hans. Jeez. All right, now I'm I'm a little more reassured. You know, sometimes. All right, let's go to 16%. Thanks. Busy scribbling. That's exactly what I want to hear. It's all good. I just want to know that, you know, I'm not alone in my little island, and everybody's like, where did she go? And I just keep on going, you know. That wouldn't be right. Okay, I just thickened the brush here. Let me explain to you why. We're going to get into facial hair, and I want to save time. And now my brush setting is just a little wider. I think I'm at 16%. Yeah. Yeah, the sound coming out of the iPhone is really great. It just works so much better than the camera that I used to use in the months prior. I'm really happy about this system. To think that this is the same instrument that I order food on, that I track my, you know, health. I mean, it's just insane. It's also my alarm clock. It's crazy. I also record my voice for my French classes. Just this whole thing. Talk to my family. It's a beautiful thing. Aren't you glad that we're not in 1998 or, you know, where we wouldn't have any of this to do this? It's crazy. All right, let me up the size here. I'm going to go to, allez, 40%. And those, the thickness now that I have is just going to allow me to cover a lot more ground. Sorry, I realized that my Mahmoud was a little bit too big on the page. I needed to go back and make it a little smaller. There we go. Loose, guys. Loose, right? Stina, I'm glad that you say you're almost done, because that kind of is, I think, the point of showing how differently we tackle a drawing, you know, on Procreate than when we tackle it on, you know, regular paper. Okay, back to 23% width. Just so you know, if you really want to follow along with the kind of width I'm using. Oop. All right. And you know, that's what I find so encouraging about drawing on Procreate on the iPad, is that you know, some of us have kids, full-time jobs, etc., etc. And sometimes the thought of having to sit down for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, you name it, 3 hours to make a formal portrait can be a little bit daunting. And I think Procreate really relieves, to me, okay, for me, knowing that I can have a little bit of a sense of completion after only 20 minutes or 15 minutes on Procreate is such a beautiful thing. And if anything, that's what, to me, technology has brought to my life. It has brought a certain convenience and a speed that I cannot get otherwise out of, let's say, a ballpoint pen drawing, even though you guys know I love drawing in ballpoint. But I'm a huge advocate of just sitting down for 15, 20 minutes and see what comes out. And I think with Procreate, you can really produce something. Yeah, yeah, Jenny, I know what you mean. 98 was great, absolutely. 98 was was all right. But you agree that had this whole pandemic happened in 1998, I really don't know how we would have been teaching, how we would have been able to do any of the remote work that we've been able to do and sort of stay afloat. Forget it. I don't know that it would have been possible. I mean, we would have been creative, but I think schools might have closed altogether. And instead we didn't. But yeah, this is not me trying to say 98 was just a horrible year. Oh, you did, excellent. Met your husband in 1998. That's so cool. Yeah, I was teaching middle school at that time in Lancaster, Pennsylvania in 1998. And I'm still in touch with these students, and they're, you know, in their mid-30s, late 30s now. It's so wild. They have their own businesses and their kids. All right, things are getting a little darker now, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, this isn't perfect, but again, we're not putting this in perspective. Oh, Kelly, you did. So you just gave us your year of birth here. That's awesome. Yeah, I graduated high school, although in France we don't quite graduate, but I finished high school in 91. Can't help cross-hatching, class. It has to happen, apparently, no matter what. Okay, going back to thin here, just to fill in inside the eyeball here and here, just to keep it looking, even though it is cartoony, I like keeping things a little realistic when it comes to the light. Okay, back to 21%. Yeah, I like your comments about 1998. Oh my gosh, it was my 3rd year of teaching at that time. All right, let's see how much time we have. Oh, we're good. It's 11:39. Again, that Peyo brush does wonders with, you know, width and thin. Like it just has this, see what I mean? Like it can go really thin this way, it can go really thick that way. Love that. I love that feel. And, you know, when I think about how Georg named all these brushes, I'm thinking of him trying to capture the strokes seen in the Smurfs, for instance, you know? Yeah. Oh, I might be the grandma of the group. It's okay. It might be me, Shelley. That's okay. I'm so used to being like older than everybody now, it seems. I like it. I don't want to go back one day. Not one day. Okay, so let me go back to a very thin brush here and take care of some areas like there, here. Yeah, it's a weird, it's kind of a weird look, but I like it. All right, let me flip this way. When I make those lines a little longer and a little curved, I just kind of take my time. See, like this, boom. It's not perfect. All right, comments, let's see. All right, all right. And again, the age, you know, what does it mean anyway? Thanks, Kate. Fun ant, I don't know. I would have to ask my nephew about that. Okay, how are you guys doing with these brushes? I hope you're really enjoying yourselves. Those of you who went with the Sktchy, I hope the Sktchy is delivering, okay? Yeah, this week on the 22nd would have been my paternal grandmother's 100th birthday, but she passed away in 2009. I really didn't know her much, but yeah, it's kind of wild to think that somebody born in 1921 is 100 now. Whew. That's wild. Okay, so let's go down this this cheek here. Let's try to make the nose look as 3D as possible. All right, all right. And then here, there's a little bit at the corner of the nose. Let's see how I can handle this. Like this, perhaps. Yeah. I'm starving. My stomach is growling. I need to hunt for food after this. Okay. Oh, didn't quite finish that mustache. Yeah. So even though there is a cross-hatching approach to all this, it's the loosest kind I can come up with. So really, yeah, it is loose. It's a loose portrait. And the thicker the setting on your brush, the looser, you know, it's going to show. I like that. See, I love getting to these areas here where you can really go to town. Let me use a tiny bit of eraser here. I think I got a little too dark. Okay. All right, let me darken a tiny bit in the eye here. Here as well, okay. So, yes, Yara, sorry, this was the payo. Thank you, Marcel, for responding. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Dean. You guys are great answering those questions that I cannot get to because I'm, you know, my nose is, or as my mom used to say, le nez dans le guidon, you know. Like, le nez dans le guidon, tu peux pas voir à 10 mètres, quoi. C'est un peu moi, ça, quand je dessine. Le nez dans le guidon, guys. Meaning your nose in your handlebars. Like, you can't really lift up your nose and see what's happening in the rest of the world. Okay. Do you like this effect? Do you like the... bye, Biba. Ciao. I hope you like the mix of brushes. I mean, the mix of width in the brushes. I know I do. I absolutely love mixing some darker areas. Okay. All right, so right now I've completely ignored the fact that there's a neck and a t-shirt, but I'm gonna get to it. There. Again, super loose, okay? Like, let's stay loose. Here we go, here. And here. Shoulders also don't expect much symmetry, you know, a lot of time. You know, they are not exactly at the same level. Okay. Excellent. David Wade, I'm so happy to hear that. Courtney, I'm not sure. I think depending on how big you want to print a drawing, here, this canvas is not gigantic, but I know, for instance, when I sketched with Rob Sketcherman once, he showed me the size of the canvases that he was drawing on, because sometimes he would print things on like murals, you know, like huge surfaces, and he would have to have a canvas that was gigantic. But this, for the size of, let's say, you know, regular piece of paper, or even a 9x12, this would be sufficient. It's only when you want to really up the size that you want to go with a much bigger canvas. Ok. Non mais c'est bien, Dominique, je suis contente que tu me dises ça, d'accord. Excellent, ça me fait plaisir à entendre. I know, and it was quick today, right? Okay, we've got the neck. We're going to add a little bit of dark in the neck as well. Not too much, but just enough to make it look a little bit realistic as well. Okay. Look, my lines are not clean. I mean, look at this. This is not a clean drawing, right? It's just, I don't know. I love just doing something that is not clean, but then you step back and it's like, oh wow, it kind of works, you know? That's what I absolutely love about Procreate, how it has loosened me up in that respect. I think otherwise I would still be like, oh really, I have to stay extra realistic, and no, you don't have to be extra realistic. I'm monkeying with the inside of the eyes now. Bringing a little bit of light, adding a little bit of facial hair right here. A bit there too. Again, what matters is, you know, what can your brain read at the end of a drawing like this? Can your brain read a face? A face that has more, you know, darkness going on here than it does here. Yeah, I think that's what we have here. Okay, so we're 10 minutes away from the end. And yes, absolutely, Leandro, I totally agree. I'm much faster in this type of medium because, I mean, it has to do with several things. Obviously, even though I barely used the eraser throughout this drawing, knowing that I can undo at any given moment, even though, again, I must have used the undo tool once, having that just sort of relaxes you, you know, you don't have to be careful. You really don't have to be careful. Alvin is here. Hi, Alvin. I'm so happy that you dropped by. So happy. I was just talking about the, just a few minutes ago about the new 30 Faces, 30 Days Procreate edition class here at Sktchy. I'm part of it. And I absolutely am so looking forward to this. That's a good question, John. Did I lower the streamline on this pen? You know, I don't think I did, but let's take a look. If I select the pen and I go to the streamline, I'm at 9%. If I did so, it might have been earlier than today because today I didn't touch it. But it's true that the streamline feature on the pen, I'm not a big fan of it because it tends to bounce in a way that I don't like. So I would not be surprised, in fact, if I did monkey with the streamline, John. So if you look at your version of the Peyo, let me know if you've got a more of a streamline. The streamline is the thing that makes the calligraphy more possible. All right. So, mesdemoiselles, messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, I suggest, just because we can, why don't we do a little bit of a background here, maybe like in red. Okay, wouldn't that be fun? Okay, you know what? I'm going to do this in, hold on, if I'm smart, why don't I add another layer and I do this in multiply. Oh, maybe it's at the top. Yes, multiply. And that way I can just add some red behind the black, just to add a little bit of drama to this portrait. What do you think, everyone? Hope you're okay with this. So I went with another layer, and before I started drawing in the second layer, which I'm in right now, I selected multiply. Multiply means that you're not going over your first layer, it goes on underneath it. I guess that's the best way that I can explain it, even though I'm not really a layer kind of person. But oh, okay, yours was at 9, John. All right, excellent. Okay. Yeah, I know, Alvin, that you have this huge commission, right, that you must still be working on, the family portrait that we were talking about when we were live the last time. Oof, that sounds like a job and a half right there. And you're always working, Alvin. You're always producing work. I am in awe of the amount that you produce. Okay, so here's Mahmoud Edris. I am going to go to, actually, let's go back to the first layer. I'm going to go to my favorites. I have a signature set up, and I am going to hopefully not make it too gigantic. I'm going to sign in black, and I'm going to put it, boom, right here. What do you think? Yes? Okay, so we've got Mahmoud here. Oh, wait. Not quite. Let me reselect my Peyo, because I realize I can add a tiny bit more. Yes, just a tiny bit more depth here to the nose, just to make it look a tiny bit darker. All right, and I am done with this. So tell me, next week is the last week of Drawing Faces with France, April edition. It seems to me as though next Saturday will be a toss between pencil and pen. I'm going to look at your comment after this and decide whether we should go with pencil or pen, okay? But either way, I am going to lean. If I see that just about as many people chose pencil as they did pen, I'm going to lean towards pen because we haven't done a pen one live in a while. Pencil one live in a while, and also because I have a better chance of completing it. So, all right. Well, thank you, Alvin. Any tips on waking up my darn Apple Pencil that won't charge? I know it's a tech tip. No way. Let me ask you, Cynthia, do you have a second generation pencil like this one? For me, Cynthia, let me see. For me, Cynthia, I am always keeping it charged on the side of my iPad. Always. It never leaves the side of my iPad. So it's constantly charged. And it is ready to go every time. So I'm kind of wondering why that happens, Cynthia. All right, Fiona, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for your comments, for your suggestions for next week. Yeah, Marcel, you like the red? I like the red too. I kind of like it too. Excellent. So guys, let me tell you quickly, if you want to post this in Sktchy Art School, you have two ways of doing it. You can either do it within the class, but I suggest that you do it within the group, which is called Drawing Faces with France or Drawing with France or Faces with France. Either way, my name is in the title, and anybody can actually post here, even those of you who are here today who are not in the class. So you could actually post via the group. All right, everyone, I'm going to sign off very soon because, as you know, at 12 in 3 minutes, we have Lisa Filion with her class on Procreate. So I'm going to let you guys shift to her live, okay? So everyone, have an excellent rest of your weekend. And I am going to hunt for food. What do you say? Yes? Oh, thank you for saying goodbye. Besos, abrazos, everybody. All right. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I will see you next week. I'm going to sign off now. And please post Instagram as well. You know, I like putting them in my stories sometimes. And I'll talk to you soon, Alvin, definitely. Bye, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Have a great week as well. See you next week. Ciao.